I think so much of my life, my training has just been very, very like rigid, where it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way, or you got to get 5, you got to make 10 from this spot and then move on. And it was like going to training wasn't the most fun because it was just very boring and routine. There was no creativity in it. It was just do this shot, make it, move on to the next spot. And the thing I did like about it was that it gave me a chance to work through and grit through certain drills. And I gained a lot from it. But after working this camp in Washington, the Elevate Bainbridge camp, I think the coolest thing that Mitch brought to the camp was just unreal creativity, creating these games that are based on just reacting and training for a game rather than just, okay, you're going to pound the ball 50 times and then you're going to go behind the back and then you're going to pound the ball another 50 times. Like what he taught at the camp, it's repetition without repetition. So you're getting the same shot, but it's never going to be the same shot twice in a row. So it's variability. And then ultimately it just comes down to, can you trust the hooper that you are to make the reads? And there's no right read. One of the coolest things he said was, well, for one, make your trainings epic.
And I think if you make your training epic, it will solve the problem of burnout. It will solve the problem of your skills not transferring. And so it's an acronym, EPIC. E, have external focus. This is one of the reasons I don't love form shooting. You're thinking about what your form is. Not very effective from the literature. So external focus is E. P is perception action coupling. We told you from day one we're not going to do 1-on-0 drills on cones. And perception action coupling is a fancy term to describe how humans move. And in the context of basketball, the assumption is the way we move is predicated off of information in the environment. Meaning, if there's zero information in the environment, that's not going to transfer to how we move in a game.
The light that we put on is key. The light of the Eiffel Tower. Oh!
So I could teach you a 3-dribble move, but that won't transfer over to a game. I'd rather put a constraint of a defender in front of you and say, take 3 dribbles, right? And you'll figure out different ways to solve the problem, because problem solving is what basketball is. It's in the moment. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving problem. So perception action coupling. I is inconstancy, meaning variability, okay? Never 2 in a row the same. And then C, challenge or pressure. So if you have a drill with those 4 things, external focus, perception action coupling, inconstancy, variability, challenge or pressure, that will transfer to game.
And 2, it's like, you don't need to figure out what shot do I want to shoot. It's like, when you're in a game, you're not thinking about, okay, I need to get this shot off. It's like, wow, I see so many ways. How many ways can I score here? I see about like 7 or 8 different ways in which I can go and get a bucket. It's like, damn, just totally changed my perspective. And so ever since that camp, I haven't trained the same way. Like as a kid, I just did a bunch of the same routine things, and it's not bad or not, it's not good or bad. It got me to where I'm at, so I'm grateful as ever for it. But what I need this year is I need that creativity. I need to continue to trust my being and who I am as a basketball player. So it's, by adding these workouts, it's just, it brings so much joy. And they're games. They're not, I wouldn't call them drills. I call them games. And when I like work with some of the younger kids that I train, or even if it's some of my teammates, all we do is these games. And it's just like, when I do them solo, it's just, it's so much joy because you're challenged. You got to problem solve. You got to figure stuff out. And so every day, or every time I went out since the camp, it was just train and figure out new creative drills, make up your own stuff. You figure it out. It's like, it's amazing. Make up games, trust them.
I'm a usual for these Connor Gleason workouts, and I will agree with Charlie. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing?
Even if they look funny or weird, you just trust them and flow and figure it out. It's like I haven't been happier going to play and touch a ball. And you feel it too, like you feel the reactivity when you get into game-like situations. It's just trust, because that's what you practice. You practice trust, because you don't know what's going to come. I have no idea what the defense is going to do, or the defender, or the constraint of the drill. It's just, when it's game time, you just go. So, like, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Elevate Bainbridge staff and camp, and Mitch, Jordan, Will, Charlie, Zach, Dave, Paul, Davey. I mean, you guys were just awesome and phenomenal, and that was huge. And not just the coaches, but the kids there that were receptive and worked hard and had a blast. I mean, it was a really cool time. You guys impacted me so much, so thank you for that. And this all kind of ties into the previous episode, where it's just being a kid, man. It's their games. They're not drills, they're games. They're fun. And that's what you want. You want to have joy and you want to get better. So that's what I'm doing this year, and I'm trusting, man.